Welcome along, everyone. What was it like, that experience, jumping into your first race?
It's been my life ever since I can remember.
Look, it really was unbelievable.
I think it's awesome.
Just go out there and give it your every time. And
when you're young and you get in your old man Superstock and you wreck it, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Craig Booker with the big smile. He is the voice that's behind what you get to hear every Sunday night.
Give it the hoot, Daddy. Look at that field. Doesn't it look fantastic? Live.
Welcome along, everyone, to your Wednesday show. Time to talk motorsports when we catch up with a few celebrities. This is In the Cockpit with Kinser, and of course, my good friend, Bump and Run, is Craig Booker, who joins you right now. How you going, Books?
Oh, I'm pretty good, mate. Yourself? You feeling good? Had a good week, brother? Hey?
Mate, I've had a busy week, busy week in the life and times on me and everything else that's going on in my little world. But hey, I always give up my time on a Wednesday, 7:30, to come and talk to all our special guests and to keep in touch with all our viewers who are always there. Look, we already got 30 sitting there as well. Maru, always there. Paul Mason, Carl Carpendale as well. Hey, everyone. Good to have you all on board.
Yeah, it's great to see everybody coming back. And hey, listen, straight off the bat, let's thank like to thank everyone that joins in each week and watches, and like to also thank our Pops Online Parts Store. Colin, I hope you're watching and I hope you're feeling better. Colin's has got the COVID, so let's hope that he's okay. The store's still out there, still running. The online store's still running, so jump on there, get your orders in for your mowers, your chainsaws, your motorbikes, whatever you need. So that's good. And FCS Limited, our good friend Sparky, still sticking with us. But also like to thank all those that did contribute on Sunday night and joined in for our cancer awareness round of our E-Series, Kinser. Now, I've put in this video as well. People can still go and donate to that. That's still up, that page. It'll keep going for the rest of the week. So if you feel like you want to donate and support the cancer, go over there. The link's in our post here for this stream, and also up the top there in that top pinned post. So if you still want to donate and help the cancer, I'd like to say a huge thanks to everybody that's supported it. It's been amazing, Kins.
Yeah, exactly. You know, everyone that's jumped on board and helped support the Cancer Society in regards to what we've been doing there as well. And we've already touched on many shows gone by, the connection with us in our own online community. Yes, Cockpit Racing, we are an online community, and the Pops website, popschainsaw.co.nz, just reiterating some of the results from last Sunday. Obviously, Craig was actually on the track with us in a very outstanding looking car.
Won the first race.
Won the first race, mate, which was good. So the feature was the Cancer Awareness 25 lapper down in Wellington. A very, very tough track to compete on. Dwayne Martin coming home third. Sparky, our good friend, the man himself I'm talking to in front of me, come home second, and the winner of it was representing the dub 12W was Richie Nikota. In the actual championship round for the Wellington champs, Ryan Herndale, always a strong peddler in his 9B car, so Rusty got home there. Steve Emmett, Dirt NZ, and the 2NZ panel van got home there second, but the winner, another dub, and he just won it by 1.2 at the end there, was Shane Hawkins, who come home first, and he was ecstatic for winning that, especially down in Wellington. Means so much, that track to him, let alone also to Richie Nikota as well. So both deserving winners for a big night that was a long night. Yes, we do apologise, had a few technical things go on, but
we did.
we got through it. We got through
Yeah,
it.
we did, mate. I don't know what was going on. I think I'm best to stick with either streaming or driving, not both, because I made a bit of a stuff up of that on the night, mate, that's for sure. But we've got another round coming up this week, round 5. Yeah. I think that's Miani. Am I correct in saying Miani? I'm not 100% sure. Look at that. That's terrible.
Yes, it is.
It is Miani. There you go. I was going to say, but we should be more organised by now. We've been doing this show long enough. We know what we need to tell people, and we still forget.
Yeah, Miani build up at 8:15. We're live on 3 platforms: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And then Craig will be doing the commentary, and you can have a lot of fun listening to him as well. So
yeah, it'll be a proper stream this week, kids, because I'm not racing as well, so I don't have to concentrate on more than one thing at once. So
You're concentrating on your mirror in front of you,
Yeah.
mate, and what's around you.
Well, but I had to try and do the stream, write numbers on the dash of my car to who to get that wound me off or got me. You know, I had to. There was a lot to do.
Yeah, it was good, but hey, it was a real pleasure to have everyone on board. It was a good viewing, actually. Some of the best viewing we had. They supported us on that. We had massive view. So to everyone that generously watched and took time out on this Sunday to be part of that, and also continue on, like Craig said, go to the Facebook page, Cockpit Media and Cockpit Media Racing, is it?
Yeah, Cockpit Racing and Media. We are now, Kins. Yeah.
It's all up there. So support the Cancer Society. So get out there and do what
And I better say hello to Brody. Brody, you're actually watching a show for a change. About time, mate, sitting there with your dad, Murray. So that's good. Not my son, Brody, Kins. I almost had you confused then, didn't I?
Yeah,
but Murray's son is also Brody. Yeah. So he's a good little fella. He's a hard case, mate. He always attacks me at Speedway or says hi, and he's just as keen as his dad is at all things Speedway as well. So that's real good. Where my Brody would rather sit in front of his computer at home and play some shoot 'em up bloody game. So
hey, just reiterating now, you brought up that word in particular, Speedway, Booker, is that all the calendars or most of the calendars from most of the tracks have been released just recently. This week, Robinson, Holden, their track down in Palmy, they've released all their details. I might have to head down that way after December 16, and we'll catch up with a good friend down there. I know he wants to hit the Palmy track, a mate of ours over in Australia, so I've already seen a big meet down there. So
yes.
I might plan down on holiday during that time.
Hey,
also,
go.
Okay.
I was going to say also, when you're talking about other tracks, but also another thing that popped up is our great sponsors and supporters are Gareth 16 and Dirt Track, and there's a in the driver's seat or something that's just come out with Aaron Follow his modified through the season. Now you might want to follow that series, people, because I would suggest that at some stage during that series you will see Reno, Kinser in the hot seat too, probably in that series at some stage. So, get amongst it and watch it. Kids, carry on.
Yeah. You're right. I'm going to be having a bit of a dabble. I'll be jumping on the wheel a couple of times, actually, racing two different speedway vehicles. So, no doubt if you watch the show, you've been an avid viewer, you know what's happening there, stock car and super saloon. So we'll see how things go, mate. It's going to be fun. So that's cool. Big ups to everyone who's jumped on board. Mark Rover spotted Books at the Rally Hawke's Bay.
Should have come over and said hi.
Yeah, spotted you there, mate. Yeah, Waikaraka Park, Scott Honeybone. That's the other one I was going to mention. They released all their track details. So everyone who loves the Speedway, most of the calendars up and down the country have released how things will roll out with the upcoming 22-23 season and the big meets too. A lot of people have asked the question. Everything carries on with the New Zealand titles as far as I'm aware. Huntley will be hosting a few of those, so plenty going on. Up the 56, Chris Bailey. But, I think that's a bit of a ramble for us, mate. 10 minutes, that's enough.
Oh, absolutely. Let's get Cody Mac in here, and he can talk all things super stocks and teams racing, I suppose, can't he?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll bring him in, Kins, and I was told my levels are higher than yours, but it's probably because I talk louder. I've just adjusted some levels, so I hope that's okay. Thanks, Dirt. Just let me know, mate, if that's good. I'll bring Cody in now, and I'll get rid of me. So thanks for hanging in there, guys. Here's Cody Mac.
Here he is, Cody Mac. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
Can't complain, bro. I can't complain. No one listens these days. You know how it goes. So you just go with the flow and enjoy life. How's life been with you?
Busy, bro. Very busy, both in off-season with work. It's been very full on, but it's going good. How about you?
Yeah, likewise, very busy. Got a lot on my plate, mate. And the problem I have is I can't say no. So that's my own fault. It's just one of those things, what you do in your own little community. Hey, just in regards to you being busy, what's work like? What takes you away early hours of the morning at 3 a.m.? So what's work like for you?
So I work as a site foreman in Albany. We work at the Westfield Mall at the moment. We're completing seismic upgrades to the actual mall itself.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the event cinemas building at the moment, and all of our noisy works can't be during trading hours, so hence the early starts and the late finishes and whatnot.
So you're doing, like you were telling me, off-show 11, 12-hour days, eh?
Yeah. Some nights it's pretty full on, and then other days, maybe on a Friday, you can get away with 7 or 8. So luckily, it does work out in the end. But It is what
Yeah.
it is. You got to get the job done. You know how it is.
Mate, it's an income, and I'm guessing it's a good income too because it's got to support the sport that you love doing. And we're going to talk more about that, because it's not cheap in most rights and everything like that. But how long are you out with the work? How busy are you doing that stuff? How long is this contract going to be around? Is it for a long time, or is it going to affect your speedway season?
Hopefully not. I am working every second Saturday, so
Okay.
fingers crossed we can work around that. But only till April next year, and then I'm looking likely to start a bigger project towards the end of next year as well, which will keep me quite busy.
Mate, that's the end of bloody speedway season. You can't be racing every second Saturday. Come on.
I know. I'll have to have a talk, I think, eh?
Yeah. Hey, mate, but you got to do what you got to do to make ends meet, don't you? It's just one of those things. And if it's work commitments, like many speedway racers or motorsport drivers in the real life, more so speedway, is work commitments. And that's what pay the bills.
Absolutely. It'd be fantastic if you didn't have to do it, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. So how did Cody Mac get introduced to speedway?
My dad. So from what I can remember, my dad's been going there since he was a young fella. He used to go since he was 5 at Waikaraka Park.
Mm-hmm.
Had to go on some stock cars, went to midgets for a year and then back into stock cars, and gave up just before we got into mini stocks. So
Yeah. So what decade are we talking about here with Dad?
well, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
At a guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times, 80s, 90s, the good times.
Back when you could use when you just had to rock up with a helmet and a pair of overalls, no gloves, no neck braces. Back in those days.
Yeah, the rules have definitely changed, let alone the vehicles have changed, and we'll talk a bit about that. Do you have any good memories of Dad's racing days back in those eras? 80s, 90s.
Yeah, I was still swimming back in the 80s, but late 90s I came to it. My favourite memory would probably be a stock car. He ran a stock car as 7A, but it was painted up like a motocross helmet, and I thought that was the bee's knees. Motocross track, and I've had a matching paint job on my helmet as to Dad's stock car, which was awesome.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. And you do it yourself. You got involved there through Dad. Now, the common question that always gets asked, Dad's number was 7A. So how did you get the 72A?
Dad's number was 72A as well. He had,
Okay.
And 72. So I think we gravitated towards 72. We tried. I think we actually tried to get 7, and it was taken at the time.
Okay.
We ended up with 67 for a season of mini stocks, and then took on 72 and haven't looked back really.
Mark Denton's already popped up with a question. So I'm not being rude if I'm looking to my left-hand side. I've got my phone here and the question's just scrolling through, mate. Will he let his brother drive a Superstock again?
Absolutely. He does probably more work on it than me at the moment, so I think he's due another drive.
So introduced through Dad back in the day, 80s, 90s, and obviously mini stock was the class. How long did you do mini stock? Did you start at the right age or jump in later, or how did that all work?
Yeah, no, I jumped in at 12, which
Wow.
was the earliest you can get, and then raced all the way through. And had a couple of seasons off to go to uni, and then was lucky enough that Dad sort of paid for a stock car for me to run while I was at uni. And then once we started talking to Jamie, who owns the Superstock from Northwestern Equipment, we got rid of the stock car and just full on into Superstocks really.
Let's talk mini stocks, mate. This class, what an attribute to speedway drivers. As young as 12, they get to do the ovals up and down the countryside, even before they get to hit the main roads and get a car license to drive on the road. It is a good stepping stone, and I'll talk more about this because we've seen so many great races come from the mini stock class. There's a list of names, and I don't even know where to start, to be honest, in all these different classes. But how cool is the mini stock class?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's I don't think you really appreciate it at the time you're doing it, but you look back on it and it teaches you so many like basic fundamentals. You find out where your limits are and when they aren't, and obviously you just get better with time. The more seat time, the better you get. And if I could recommend anything to anyone that races a mini stock, it would be make the most of it. That's where you're going to learn pretty much everything you need to know to become a half decent driver.
Yeah. People might think to themselves, look, they're just going in circles. Any bloody kid can do it. But it's more than just that. You're learning the awareness of other cars around you. Yes, you might get the odd little bump, even though they're not in the rules. Definitely not a wind-off and so forth. But you're just getting that awareness. And at the age of 12, that is huge. That is a big step up to get on a racetrack. Could you imagine adrenaline when you were 12 years old and just getting so pumped, and half the time you must be wondering, I need to go to the bathroom again because I'm getting so bloody nervous. But it's just all of that and learning how to drive a car full stop at 12. That is a huge step into speedway.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite daunting, to be fair, because like you said, you don't get any road experience. It is, for me, it was my first experience in driving a car, or let alone a manual car. So you can imagine, got the mini stock on. I think it was on a Thursday, and we were racing it on a Saturday. My first time driving the thing was taking it off the trailer around the pits, So my brother was the same. It's very full on.
Yeah, yeah, especially when you've got a whole bunch of people around you. But you make good friends out of that, and we'll talk about that, the connections you make and the networks that grow, not only for you as a driver, but also your family, your crew, and everything. It's just that big, massive family you make. Mini Stocks in Paradise, you do that, mate?
Yeah, I did. I did all 5 years.
Wow.
It was probably one of the more fun events. Gets a little bit political every year, but that's if you're not getting political, then you're not competitive. Everything you want to do, you want to be the best at. So when there's competitive people, it is going to get political.
Yeah, yeah. How'd you go?
Oh, I qualified for the junior group twice, and then the top group twice as well. And 1 year I didn't qualify to run off with George Amalia, actually, out of all people.
Yeah.
I didn't get the flag, but hey, is what it is.
It's memories and it's the experience into the sport that we love talking to you drivers about, but we also love talking about finding out a bit about Cody Mac. You touched on what you do for a bit of a dollar for a coin to pay the bills and everything. Early hours, mate, from 3 a.m., holy hell, 11 to 12-hour days in every second Saturday. So he's a busy man, everyone, when we see him out there on the track doing what we do appreciate your time. And I do thank you for your time for joining us on the show. Look, heaps of people are asking the questions. Mark Denton again, mate. Who was better in the mini stock, you or your brother?
Oh, I like to think I am, but he's always going to think he is, and I'm going to think I am. Unfortunately, you can't compare it because we weren't at the same age at the same time. But
yeah. So what's the age difference between you two?
3 years. So
okay.
As I was aging out, he was only in his second year. So it's hard to tell. And then when I aged out, I think it was when I aged out, the restrictor plate rule changed too. So rule change. But hey, he did well too, so I'm not going to take anything away from him.
Nah, and you're both competitive. You got that competitive edge, eh?
Oh, absolutely. You should hear us in the garage. If we had two cars out there, some nights, mate, we'd smash each other more than anyone else.
No, that's hard case, all right, mate. That's really cool. So that's good to hear and everything going well there and their competitive edge. So you got to have that, mate. Where's that come from? Is that mum, dad, or how does that come into it?
Oh, I think it's just the old classic sibling rivalry, to be fair. But I think dad doesn't like it. He doesn't entertain it, but we don't care. We're into it.
Yeah, that's the main thing, mate. Mate, look at it develops you and everything going well there as well. So that's good to hear and everything's all good. So just going to get into would you be coming down for the North Island Superstock Temps? And I'm going to talk about this a bit later on in Stratford. We going down that way?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to do all the major championships we can next season. We are unfortunate not to get any this year, so we've only done, I think it's the North Islands and the New Zealand's. So we've only done 2 championship meetings in the Superstock. Wow. So yeah, it'd be cool to get that experience because you don't get. It's better now in Auckland. We're getting a great field of cars come sort of every week now, which is awesome. But you don't get that quality field, that championship quality field, unless you're there. So you don't get that experience because it is different,
Yeah.
Every point matters, and you're not going to be kind to the guy in front of you when it comes to a championship. You're going to get him out of your way. You want that point.
You did your time in the mini stock class, mate. What happened after that? Was it straight to the Superstock that we know you in now, or did you do anything else prior to that?
Yeah, did a stock car for a couple of years on and off, and then I think I only did 2 seasons of it over 4 years I had off while I was at uni, and then jumped into the Super.
You go to uni, mate, and you talk to your mates there, people that you've met at uni, and you tell them what you do. What's their reaction to that?
Oh, they think it's mental, to be fair.
Really?
It's quite hard telling someone who doesn't have a racing background that you're like bashing into your mates and smashing them and taking them off the end, and they look at you like you're a bit of a weirdo, but
yeah,
you get quite passionate about it too, and they think, whoa, what the heck,
So that obviously, does that mate then come along and buy a ticket, sit on the side of the track and watch you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome when they do come out because it just opens their eyes to a whole new experience they're not really exposed to as such, I guess. Because Speedway to a lot of people outside of the Speedway community is quite unheard of. It's quite hard to branch out and get someone or meet someone on the street and talk Speedway and they actually understand what you're saying and understand your passion for it.
Yeah, it is quite an eye-opener, eh? It's quite surprising, eh? Because, we live in this world of loving speedway and we go to tracks up and down the countryside following our people we love to watch race and just the classes we love to race. And you talk to the odd Joe Blogs in the street and you talk where you've been and what you've been and you're telling them, what? What are
Yeah,
you talking
exactly.
about? Yeah.
The amount of people that you tell, oh, what did you do on the weekend? Oh, I went to Palmerston North for a weekend. And they go, what did you do down there? And you say Speedway. They look at you. They're like, what? Like, what's that?
Yeah.
When you go to Palmerston North for a weekend or a night, they can't really make sense of it.
No, they can't kind of put two and two together, really. But, how'd you go in your stock car?
We were all right. We didn't have the best stock car, but we were out there having fun, and that's all we really want to do. We try not to lose sight of the fact that the sport is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Whether you're winning or you're losing, and as long as everyone's smiling and have a good time, then that's what it's all about.
Are you one of those young men that thinks, when things happen out on the track, it stays here on the track? There's no real need to take it outside the pit gate once that's closed. There's always paybacks and everything that comes after next race or whatever. But, once things happen on the track, mate, it stays zero.
Oh, I absolutely. I'd love to say that, I'd leave everything on the track. There's a couple that you come back to the pits you're not too happy about. But once you cool down, you offer your apologies and try leave it on the track and have a beer and deal with it next time.
Yeah, got to have a beer, mate, because there's always a lot of friends and family that are involved in Speedway. And what most of the spectators see is all the action out there on the track, and there's all this other stuff that happens behind the scenes. Let's talk behind the scenes, mate. Your crew. Let's acknowledge your crew, everyone that helps out and keeps the Superstock going on track. Who does all the work for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely wouldn't be there without my dad and my brother and Ken Tyson. With work and stuff like that, I haven't really been able to do too much on the car, and those three are absolutely into it, smashing it. They're rebuilding it as we speak.
Wow.
It's all been re-steeled, nearly stripped, and I think I spent one Saturday there. So it's just awesome to have those people that are willing to help out. I try my best to get there, but it just doesn't work out half the time. And they don't seem to care. They get into it and they're having fun, and that's just awesome to see that they're all doing it for me. It makes you really appreciate the people around you.
And that's what you have to appreciate. There's all the people who do all this hard work behind the scenes. All the spectators and the fans get to see is Cody Mac driving around and doing what he does, But there is a lot of work and, cannot be done. Obviously, you do not have the support of so many behind the scenes. And look, the family are a big part of that as well. They come along to enjoy it. We kind of push Speedway as a family sport. The kids come along and enjoy it. How was your last season, mate? I want to talk more about family side of things because, there were certain tracks that were starting racing at like 3 and 4 o'clock, so you were finished predominantly around 7, 8 o'clock at night when you were just about getting rest. In the normal world, you would be starting a race. How did you find all of that? The whole season, it was a different season, it was a longer season, earlier starts. Did that affect you in any way?
Didn't affect me as such driving,
okay.
But everything else, we're quite, through no fault of our own, we're actually always quite late to a track. So when nothing seems to go right on the Saturday, so when it brings a meeting forward 3 hours, it gets quite stressful in the garage and tensions get a bit high. But as for the season, it was a weird one. It's weird not being able to go to the New Zealand champs or a big meeting as such. I think, with the season just gone, it was gearing up like Auckland champs and the John Webster and the Ollie Brown were sort of your big ones that you looked forward to. And whilst you look forward to them every season, there's always the extra level of intensity when you get to the New Zealands and stuff like that. So I think that lacked a bit of excitement for that sort of thing lacked. But in the car, it didn't matter. It also sucked when I had to work on Saturdays and the meeting started at bloody 4 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think there were that many fans. There were some that enjoyed it, especially for the kids more so than anything. You didn't get home too late, when you go back to your 6 or 7 o'clock start. Some of obviously there's curfews at certain tracks. Could be wrapping up between 10 and 11 o'clock. So I can see a bit of merit both sides, but you got to think of the drivers, their busy work life, and then trying to get themselves sorted to get the vehicles at tracks if they're traveling up and down the country. If you were thinking of your Superstock, mate, tell us about that. Tell us about your 72A. Tell us a bit of history on that. How that all happen?
Sorry, what was that?
Your Superstock, your car. Can you hear right? Yeah. Tell me all about it, mate.
My car. I don't know. It's a hard one, really. I really don't have an answer for you, to be honest. Sorry.
Yeah, you just get out there and do it, eh?
Yeah, I love my car, and we race, and obviously that's fantastic, and I'm grateful for everyone that supports me. But a big side of us, or Speedway for us, is the social side of it. You
Yeah,
go to
yeah, yeah.
Speedway and you unload the car, and you enjoy that time that you get chatting to your friends as well. There's the amount of shit we talk between us. It's fantastic. Wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, good on you. So, what is the chassis? Tell us about the chassis and everything.
The chassis is a Hayburn built T-Mac.
Yeah.
I think it's about 12 or 13 years old now. It was Paul Fairbrother's car, and it was originally a stock car. Paulie changed it to a super. Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't remember how long ago, but yeah. And since we've had it, we've done a fair bit of upgrades to it and changed the stance of it a little bit. Nothing too major, and no really development in the suspension as such. Just put some new parts here and there and replace some older parts. Just general maintenance, really. We haven't changed it too much. Even the point where the design on it is exactly the same as Paul's, except we changed the green to an orange. So we haven't done much.
Yeah, a lot of history in those kind of cars, like you say, with Fairbrother and like the Hampton side of things and everything like that. It's just very, very classy looking cars.
Yeah, absolutely. They do look cool on the track. I think when you look at tri-rails, you instantly think the Silver Bullet and how cool that was when it debuted. It was the best thing out there. It was years ahead of its time, really.
Yeah. Tony Mac knew about cars way back then as well. Looking at still pedals today as well.
Exactly.
And actually at your home track, and I'm just trying to think at the top of my head, is it the oldest chassis still running around to date? It has to be one of them, surely. It'd be one of them.
It wouldn't. Yeah, it's the only one that comes to mind when you think super old chassis.
Yeah,
That's well known anyway.
Hard out.
I think Rodney Wood's one's running around still, isn't it? It wasn't Stratford a few years back.
Yeah. There's the old. That's, I think, from memory off the top of my head, is that Craig Taylor? I'm just trying to work it out. My head's just going round and round in circles, thinking of history with some of these cars. Oh, Rodney, knowing Rodney as well. National titles, mate. And how long you been racing a Superstock?
So that was my second season. So 2 years. 2 years?
2 years?
Yeah.
How you find it? You enjoying it? You loving it?
Yeah, love it. It's definitely an adrenaline buzz you just can't get anywhere else. That's the easiest way to describe it. Is you get no other feeling than strapping in and going out the gate and putting your foot flat and it just taking off.
All right, and teens, mate, the All-Stars, eh? How good are the All-Stars? Look, we had you on when we did a teens build-up alongside with Randy T. And he's got a big venture coming up, I think, real soon, getting ready for Will Brisker. Mate, let's talk teams. When you got involved in teams and you got selected, what was going through your mind?
Oh, just overwhelmed with joy, really.
Yeah.
It was, you grow up watching teams, you watch teams on YouTube almost every second night. It's just absolutely something I wanted to do. I'd rather do teams every year than the New Zealand's. If you had to pick one, it's teams. I sit here with my mates and we send videos to each other and look how good this hit was and what this guy did wrong. To be honest with you, it's just so being able to represent the All-Stars too, the track that I've raced for, I've never raced anywhere else for the track codes. So being able to race for the All-Stars with the guys we're racing with too now, and to be able to go to Palmy with a chance of winning, in the last couple of years, it's been great. It's been a huge experience, and we've actually had a fantastic following. The supporters in Auckland and everywhere else that support us as a team is growing and growing, and that's awesome to see as well.
As a young team as well, look, there is a big history when it comes to Auckland All-Stars, especially down the Palmy over years gone by. They've had great drivers, so the legacy has been very strong. You mentioned the Ollie Brown name earlier in the piece. She was a huge stalwart of the Auckland team back in the day, always there on the back of either Ricky Mitchell or Dave Tarrant's car, something like that, There's a history there, and it's good to see that you're loyal to your track, mate. And I know, and you take a look at the team that went down the Palmy and everything like that. Young team, Randy Tarrant, upset a few of the Bay boys there, but he come up to race with you guys. And Tyson Wooten there as well. It was a good young team, a team for the future. Yeah,
it was good to have the experience of Randy and Tyson. They've done a lot of team races between those two, to sort of be able to fall back on them and get new ideas. for years we've well, I say for years, it actually, probably forever. We've struggled to get people in there who have won teams and who have had a lot of experience. We've obviously had Bryce Marks campaigning for for a long time, but since he stepped out, you're sort of lacking that experience or that super stock experience, shall I say, for teams racing. You got Gary Lonergan, who's been stock car teams racing since I started breathing, really.
Yeah. And you got Lofty in there as well. Lofty's in the team. You got a good young there and a good experience in amongst the team. You still there with me, Cody?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just having a little bit of problem with the Wi-Fi. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's all right. No, that's fine. I'm just wondering there because I was saying if you think, there might be the family busy watching the stream on the big screen in the lounge or something, are they?
Yeah, probably.
No, that's all good. Look, we'll just keep going along. Look, Madu, you could be right there, mate. You must really right. The old Bartholomew chassis and Nelson might be a bit more older than the Silver Bullet. So, it's good that we have these comments coming in because it helps us out. It educates us. And like Cody and I know, we only know really basically Tony Mac stuff and everything like that. So that's all good. So you're in the car, mate, getting ready, and we're going to talk the team's event itself. This one in particular, Palmer, you've got the scrutineering and everything. That's done, dusted. You're getting out to the parade. What's that like for you?
The parade's unreal. It is probably one of the best feelings in Speedway. Watching everyone there, you see so many familiar faces in the crowd, all there just to watch teams racing, and it doesn't get any better. When it comes to Palmy teams, you're doing that parade, that every single driver that's showing up is not there to participate, there to win.
Yeah, okay.
You're going to get 100% from everyone that shows up, and you're driving around and you enjoy it. But as soon as you come off that track, the mentality changes. It's game time. You're into it, and I've been frustrated personally for the last 2 years of having to wait to the last race of the first round. I much prefer getting straight into it, because you can get in your own head sometimes. You psych yourself out maybe a little bit, or even waiting. I just don't like waiting. I just want to get into it.
How do you prepare yourself for a particular event like teams? Say Palmy or Auckland. You done Auckland teams?
No, I haven't done Auckland.
You haven't?
Yet.
Okay, so right. So Palmy teams then. How do you prepare? How does Cody Mac prepare for all of that?
In the week leading up to it, it's just trying to go over the car as much as we can early in the week. Dad and Jamie's like to go down a couple days before teams and chill out, just get a bit of a relaxing environment while they can. But on the weekend as such, it's just trying to stay calm, really. Just, you've done all the prep you can. You've tightened everything. You've double checked everything. Everything's got fluid in it. There's nothing more you can do. What if something breaks? Something breaks. It's not through no fault of your own. It's going to be, and that's sort of what you expect. You expect everyone to show up with the best that they can, and if what fails is was going to fail anyway. It doesn't matter what you've done. Yeah. But like I said, I try and enjoy and soak in the atmosphere because it is, especially having only done it twice, it is surreal, really.
Yeah, I could imagine it. Like you said, doing it twice, young man as you are, and you want to put everything on the line because you are. Obviously supported, got your fans there, your family's there, but you're representing your track back home as well, and it's a big journey from Auckland down to Palmy in that regards. What goes through your mind? You're sitting on the grid. You've got a role to play in your team, obviously. So what's going through your mind before the gate opens, before you get ready to go on?
Hurry up and open the gate.
Oh, really? Yeah?
Yeah. No, just trying to think, really. It's like, okay, whether or not I'm running or I'm blocking, what can happen in that first corner really is going to change everything. So you just need to make sure that you're aware. And for me, it's just going over my team's roles and what they're doing and making sure that when we come out of that corner, that everyone's in the role that they're supposed to be. Otherwise, if they're not, do I need to change my role?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 or so far, I haven't had to. There was one race in Palmy against Rotorua where I should have stopped. And I recognised it just too late. And by the time I recognised it, Gary had stopped. And I think if we had recognised it a little bit earlier, we could have changed the result. But hey, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right?
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. It may look all good and everything from the spectators sitting in the grandstand and on the seats, and they're yelling at you. But when you're behind the wheel and you're trying to work it all out yourself, looking in your mirrors, also trying to work with the damage that your Superstock has sustained during the races, and everything, so much is just going through your mind. It's all right for an individual to sit there in a chair and give you hell and say you should have did this. But when you're sitting behind the wheel, I bet you it's a lot different. The adrenaline's going through your mind. You got to make sure you got everything right. And there is a lot, I would guess, that goes on in the cockpit of a car and so forth. Mate, you're enjoying it, though. I can tell you enjoying it. I enjoy seeing your teams. And, mate, you just go harder. You give it all.
Absolutely, you got to do it. You got to be committed at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it half-assed, you just stay home. Let someone else do it.
Yeah.
Just to touch back, sorry, on when you say comments from the crowd and whatnot, and everyone thinks it's easy. If you're driving down and even in a road car, what you see up the front of you, if you don't move your head because you can't, what you see up the front of you and what your mirror is what we get to see with. So, and you spin on the infield and you get hit and you do a couple spins on the infield, 3 or 4 drivers can go past you and you not pick it up, and then that's and that's all it takes to misread a race. So
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. And, the way the cars are going and how fast they're going these days, it's just unbelievably fast.
yeah, exactly. There's, especially at Huntley, 12 laps seems like a long time, but when you're punching out 16, 17-second lap times or whatever it is at Huntley, it's not a lot of time at all.
Yeah. Hey, it's just gone 8 o'clock, everyone. Look, and the most common question that seems to pop up every time we interview someone when it comes to any motorsport, celebrity, speedway, or on the tarmac. Other classes, mate, I'm going to get into your mind now. There's another class on the dirt oval track that you would love to have a go at it. What is it?
Oh, midgets or sprint cars, I think I'd like to have a go. Just for the raw power,
Yeah.
really. But to be honest, if it's got 4 wheels, I'd have a go on anything.
Yeah.
To be honest, if someone presents me with an opportunity for a driver, I'd give it a go. Because it's easy to judge until you do it. Once you do it, you go out there. Like I've driven a saloon, but back when I was 14, and I didn't do it very good at all. So watching these guys do it, you've got a bit of respect for them.
Yeah. I suppose too, you're at a good age too. We're a very, very strong, dominant age group. If I put it into the right context of a younger age group has got no fear these days, and they just give it hell, and you can see it sometimes. And you got some of the most experienced peddlers in all sorts of speedway classes that are just hanging in there these days. Hey, a younger generation, well, mini stocks, we touched on it at the start. They've learnt the trade at a very, very early age. And most young ones these days don't have bloody fear. And if they've got the right machinery and everything's working well, 100%, mate, it's a winning formula.
Absolutely, and the younger you are, the more you're going to feel invincible as you get older. You might start. I haven't yet personally, but you might start questioning. Is this going to hurt me? Can I go to work on Monday? Whereas these young fellas don't care. They'll jump out of the car, mate, and they'll smash you, and they'll keep doing it. So it's all good. It's part of the fun, though.
Wow. Well, I like your attitude. I love what you said there. I've interviewed many people on this show over the months gone by, and especially some of the great names of our speedway, and they've all actually said similar answers. It's a younger driver coming on through, whether it be boys or girls these days, If I use Rebecca Barr as an example, she's come onto the scene not only as an individual racer, but also with the Mustangs and such. Mate, how good is it good to see some of the girls out there giving it to you guys these days, eh? Just smashing the hell out of you, eh?
Oh, it's fantastic, mate. It just proves that, anyone can do it, with the dedication and the commitment to get better and time. Seat time's huge. Everyone underestimates seat time. But as long as you're behind that wheel, you're always improving.
All right. So how much is your dad's input? Tracy Vincent's got a good question here. Is your dad really fussy when it comes to your car?
That's ridiculous. It's probably 90% of the reasons we're late, to be fair, is him finessing. But the way he finesses over the little details is why, one, the car looks so good, but two, we're able to, be as reliable as we are.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that, you could go to the track and say, oh, I haven't done this, but it's all good. I'll do it next week. Mm-hmm. And then that part fails. We don't get that. We check everything, and Dad does it all. We don't load up till it's all done. And it's
wow.
It could be 5 o'clock and we could be racing at 7 and we're still at home and he's still checking shit.
Yeah.
No, not till this is done. So
Well, you got to have that input, hey, and it's experience in making sure, hey, it's about your safety as well, but also that making sure what we deliver out there on the track, because you've got sponsors who've got money invested in everyone else. You've got people who helped out behind the scenes working on the car week in and week out. You're busy in your own right. So he just wants to make sure the car is 100%, you're safe, and we get out there, enjoy what we do, but you do it at home, and everything like that. So that's really cool. That's a good way to see it. And your paint scheme, mate, outstanding, eh? It's a good presentation.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got to give credit to Paul Fairbrother actually, because like I said earlier, it is his design. We changed the colours up slightly, but it's not ours originally. So I guess thanks, Paul, for that.
Oh, hey, nothing wrong with it, mate. You got to do give credit where it's due. And I know you got a little bit of paper there in front of you, mate. This is where you give your sponsors a bit of a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely couldn't do it without these guys. Like you said earlier, making sure that everything, so much time goes into it, making sure everything's right because we need to perform. Because these guys put so much money and time into me, got to deliver results. So firstly, I got to thank Jamie Scott from Northwestern Equipment. He owns the car, the whole deal. He sponsors me everything. So extremely grateful for that man and what he's done. I definitely wouldn't be here talking to you if it wasn't for him. Simon Davis from DS Commercial Construction, he jumped on board this season. He's been fantastic to deal with, and obviously Simon races himself, and he's getting better and better every week. So he comes up to Auckland every now and then as well. So it's good to rub sidewells with someone that's sponsoring you. Blair from Absolutely Gas, Scotty from Bally and Mitzi Wreckers, Ross Green from Ross Green Contracting, and Dane Wright from Spartan for Toyota. They all help us out with running this car for the full-on season.
There's the name I remember, Dan, right? That's a 7A way back in the day, the Spartan car and everything like that. And there's some big names that have been associated that support you alongside with the sport that we talk about, Speedways. So it's good. They've done their time over the years gone by with racing. And it's just good to see them give a bit of contribution financially. It helps make things work. And you're right, Madu. I know many racers out there who have a good top-end vehicle. And obviously, when it comes to a $2 part, that's all it could be. It's a $2 part. Could cost you a championship, eh?
Yeah, exactly. At teams this year, we had, wasn't it? Oh, it was just a small bracket, and like you said, $2 part, a small bracket bent and locked us up, and we were pretty much useless in the team's race. So that's all it took. It is one of those things. Also, just like to say a huge thank you again to my dad, my brother, Ken Tyson, Ozzy Sockel, Scott Rumble, David Ingram, all the guys that just help us out on week-to-week running as well. They show up at different meetings, and David's always there for the championships. Ozzy's there on club nights. It's just Scotty's always there as well. It's just fantastic to have people supporting you, not only financially, but physically as well. It just makes the night a lot easier.
Yeah, hard out, mate. And you got all these people doing all this amazing work behind the scenes. Kind of makes the job a bit easier for you. You don't have to worry about it. You just got to concentrate where you are and where your next grid is going to be on the next race as such as well, and everything like that. So making sure you're 100% focused and ready to do what you got to do out there on the dirt. And mate, how important are the fans? They love it when they see you out there, and everyone's got their own car and so forth and so forth. But how important are the fans?
Oh, the reason you do it really at the end of the day, isn't it? You want to put on a show, and even we got lots of fans in Auckland that come and interact with us on a weekly basis, and you get to know them on a personal level. So it just makes the whole thing a bit more exciting. To be fair, racing in front of people that friends, family, it would not be the same without fans. There's an environment around speed, or an atmosphere. Sorry, would be a better word to use around Speedway that the fans create. With no fans, there's no atmosphere, and with no atmosphere, there's probably no fun.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Do you have a vision one time, representing the Auckland All-Stars on your home track at Teams Nationals?
Absolutely. I'd love to get the win, especially at Auckland. It would be awesome. But most importantly, I think I'd love to get the win at Palmy Teams. Obviously, everyone does, but to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure Auckland haven't done it before. So I think the best we've got is second. So it'd be cool to be one of those 5 drivers that get the job done for Auckland first.
Okay. I know you've had a win. You managed to win the Ollie Brown Memorial.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was probably the highlight so far in my season, of my career, really. You touched on it earlier. Everyone knows how big Ollie was when it comes to the All-Stars. Unfortunately, it was a little bit before my time, but it doesn't mean that I don't understand how prestigious that award is. So to get that trophy under my belt so early on in my career is just fantastic.
Yeah, well known name when it comes to the track up there in Auckland. Well known name. I used to watch her back in the day, even get along then. I think she was an avid blues fan back in the day as well, sitting in her own little corner at Eden Park. And yeah, very, very, very staunch fan of Auckland Speedway and Motorsports. Look, they had their big fancy little fans up at the track as well, and you'll see them. And she's just so many names. Let's roll into sim racing world, mate. I know when we get to do a series somewhere along in the future here at Cockpit Racing, it'll be a Superstock series. I know you're putting your hand up as well to jump on, and you're aware we've done a modified series, a Super Saloon series. We're currently in the Pops Chain Stores, Pops Online's parts store, Street Stock series. So we've got a couple of real drivers racing with us. You'll be amped to jump on and do some sim racing with us.
Absolutely, mate. I think it'd be quite fun. I've been into my sim racing, for a few years. It just you see the content you guys put out. It's fantastic. Credit to you. It'd be cool to do it.
Yeah, mate. We'll have to get you on here and try and roll Cody Mac over one time, or you do the vice versa. Actually, Brad Lane, he's been racing with us since the Rev XS modified series a little while back, and he's been pedaling very well, actually. Wasn't too bad in the street stocks, and he's not too bad in the saloons. I think he's just got that gift, mate, of a bloody competitor and a good racer.
Absolutely. He's got that gift. He's a right talent for sure. Follows in his old man's footsteps. Absolutely.
Yeah, hard out. Mate, and you do a bit of sim racing. We touched on before the show, we were just talking off air. You do a bit of iRacing, no?
Yeah, me and Owen and Jordan will get on and get competitive with lap times and stuff like that. So all in our spare time, but trying to find spare time these days is quite difficult.
Yeah. Sprint car stuff. What are you doing? Late models, modifieds?
Yes, midgets mostly.
Yeah.
And a bit of tarmac racing, but nothing too serious on tarmac.
You any good?
I like to think so, but probably not.
Oh, I like that one, mate. You can be good on the track. And, we've spoken to Keegan Levine over the years gone by, over the months gone by. His dad, Alan, actually said a good comment on one of our shows and said teams racing and everything, because he's been doing stock car heat and other stuff back in the day. He thinks that's been a contribution to how good his boys were, Keegan and Ethan. I remember him saying that comment, and once we get you into what we're doing, mate, I'm guessing that could benefit you and what you want to do with your racing as well, especially when it comes to teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, probably sure you're aware of it, Wreckfest on PS4. Used to play a bit of that.
Yeah.
We've got the old brake kit going at teams last year, and it saved me from getting smoked. So definitely helps you. Even just awareness, it just helps you realize like you're constantly looking. Anything online, anything to do with speedway, you got to be looking in your mirror.
And the Logitech steering wheel you got, mate?
Yeah, I think it's a 27 or a 29. I'm not quite sure. It's actually my brother's, but we use it here. So yeah, thanks, Bailey.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. That's good to know. It's good to hear that things are rolling out. You're having a bit of fun with the online and also applying to the real stuff as well. So how is season being prepared for you? Are you ready for opening night, or it's going to come down to work commitments?
No, we're never ready for opening night. To be fair, it's always our last push. To be fair, Ken, Dad, and Bailey have really got to move on this season. The car's basically stripped and restored, ready for sandblasting. The old boy's just fallen a bit crook over the last week, so a little bit of downtime with him recovering. But fortunately, I think we're in a position where we can absorb that time. We won't be making practice, but we never make practice. Nothing new for us.
Yeah, just roll with the day and go with the flow and see what happens. Look, everyone's busy in their own right, and there are a few little hiccups that seem to happen these days. But when you hit the track, mate, just look out for the 72A. 72A Superstock Cody Mac is the Facebook page, so you'll see it going down the bottom and scrolling along. So give them a follow, give them a like. Merchandise, merchandise, mate. You got any merch?
No, I don't. We are looking into it though. It's something that we want to do and something I feel like we need to do. To be fair, it's everyone does it, and you see everyone walking around. It'd be cool. To see some people walking around with a shirt that's got my car on it.
All right. I'm going to ask you a quick question there in regards, because I know you've only been doing your Superstock stuff for only a few years, but when it gets to certain events and so forth and representing your track, is it out there? You're in the finals of the Superstock champs. Is it the track code side of things? You've got like 2 or 3 A's out there with you. Do I help support them, or do I have a few more mates who've been with me since the mini stock days? Where do you sit on that? Do you go and stick loyal to the track you're representing with the A? Or it might be just 1 or 2 years or something, and then you got a whole lot of mates. Where do you sit, mate?
If the Auckland cars are up there, then we go
Yeah.
full noise for the boys. We get the job done and hope like how they're going to return the favour. Otherwise, if they're not up there, then I'm not going to go look and get involved in stuff that I'm not involved in. But if there's someone up there that I don't like or has hit me or done something wrong by me, then we're sure we're after them. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, you got the number on the dash. You got the number on the dash, and it's something that stays in that memory bank for some time. Remember when you did this to me and I could have won this event? Payback's going to come back. It's just one of those things, you know. Your dad's a weapon. Dave Ingram's watching, mate. Your dad's a weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've said this a couple of times now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here without him for sure. He carries this race team.
All right, the season coming up, mate. Whenever you decide to roll out there, because you're all busy, I'm guessing you're going to be traveling to Huntley, do a couple of big meetings there, and get around here and there.
Yeah, we'd like to do. I'd like to do a race at every track this season in the North Island.
Okay.
So you got the big events like the 240s at Rotorua, the New Zealand's at Huntley, the teams at Huntley, the teams at Army, Grand Prix or North Island's at Stratford. I can't remember which one. But it'd be cool to head over and get a go at Gizzy. Car goes well at Miani too. We enjoy Miani. It's a great track. The people there are all right. They're fun to race with. They're good to race with too. We went down there for the Hawke's Bay Champs a couple of years ago, and they credit to them. They stuck to their track code and they took us out. And that's what you want. You want to see people sticking to their track codes.
Awesome.
In an ideal situation, everyone is taking everyone out for their club mates as opposed to their social media friends, but it doesn't work like that as much now because 9 times out of 10, not a lot of your club mates are up there, especially in the past Auckland cars. You don't get any Auckland cars in there, so you got to side with your social mates. But hopefully the time comes when the Auckland club mates are up there and we can do the business.
Going to put your hand up again for teams, eh?
Absolutely. We've already had a chat this season with the All Stars before prize giving. Our names in the hat for sure.
Yeah. North Island's are at Strategy. The GP's actually at your home track. So definitely the GP, you can count down one and then you might if he's talking about heading around the tracks up in the north, look forward to Strategy, mate. A nice little tight, small track. A lot of actual development going on down in that region for future. So that looks promising for them down there in the Strategy area, especially with the Speedway, a lot of historic value there as well. So that's real awesome. Mate, talking about that kind of stuff and your tracks, you said you enjoyed yourself, the company of the people down at Miani. So what is your favourite track?
Oh, probably Rotorua.
Okay.
We've always gone good at Rotorua. I don't know what it is. It's just, that's sort of being my good track as opposed to Huntley's probably my bogey track, to be fair. I don't really go too well at Huntley, which is a bit of shame because the New Zealanders are coming up, so hopefully our luck can turn around.
Yeah. What you've just said there, Rotorua is one of your favourite tracks. Everyone I speak to, especially when it comes to Superstock drivers, always talk Rotorua, and the same as you, they don't know what it is, but I think it's the competitive edge when you have the big events down there and everyone's going Hundy. Dare I say it, the World 240's third final, I always talk about that, and it's always the third heat's the best, and every single year, it's the best we've ever seen. Next year comes around, third and final heat, it's the best we've ever bloody seen. I can guarantee you when it comes to the event coming up next year, we're going to say the same thing. That third heat is just unbelievable. And the Brits are back as well. So, the Poms are coming back. The Lions will be back in Palmy. So, mate, it's a lot of pressure, eh? It's full on, big events like that.
Yeah, it is. It's cool, though. It really, gets your competitive edge going. And I think for Rotorua, it's just, everything. It's the tight corners. It's the action. It's the venue itself. Stan and Sonia have done an outstanding job to make that place what it is. It's probably one of the best tracks in the country. For everything, and you're always going to get the same track at Rotorua. It never changes. It's the same no matter if you go on a club night in New Zealand. And the consistency, I think, a lot of people appreciate too.
Yeah. And Hartley, with the New Zealand's coming up there and the cancellations from the previous Speedway season, mate, let's hope you can turn something around into a positive from being your bogey track. Hey, let's try something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. That's cool. You look, drivers, you're a young man. You talked about growing up watching the old man race back in the day and watching some of those memories. Who do you look up to? Who's the person you idolize,
Oh, yeah. I quite like Kieran.
Yeah.
Wayne
Oh, no,
Healy.
don't say that, mate, because Kerry will be watching this. Oh,
Yeah,
he'll be.
he's all right. He's a good laugh. He's one of those old school fellas that keep you on the track, and then that's what you need. They come up for the Ollie Brown and the King of the Park, and they were biffing and bashing with us, and it's all laughs and all smiles in the pits afterwards, and that's what you want. You don't want any angry or anyone going home upset.
Kerry's going to text me now. Did you hear that, mate? Can you replay it again? Oh, I'm never going to hear the end of it, mate. Holy hell. Bloody Kerry. Now, that's all good. And your rivals, your closest rivals when you're out there in the 72A Superstock, who's some of your closest rivals? Is it some of your mates from the old mini stock days or nearly everyone that's on the track at the same time you are?
Oh, nearly everyone at the track,
Yeah.
It's tough because they'll be your club mates, but they're still, they're not going to let you win on a club night, You got to beat them. So I'd say on the track, everyone's a rival until you need mates. When it comes to championships, then some of your club mates might become your friends as opposed to your rivals. But I'm just trying to win a race every time I'm out there, and so is everyone else. So.
Okay. Talking of winning, mate, I might put you on the spot here. It might be a bit wrong on me asking you this question, but some of them have spoken about how valuable is winning teams compared to a New Zealand title. What would make you feel more proud, on your dad and everyone that's worked with it, walking away from Palmy with the team's championship with the Auckland All-Stars, or walking away as Cody Mac, the new 1NZ Superstock champ?
Oh, I think from an individual perspective, it'd be fantastic to get the New Zealand title.
Okay.
Because that's you and your team alone. But in saying that, you and your team alone have still got to keep your car going at Palmy team. So any of them would be an awesome trophy to have, because it's not just me. It's everyone involved that trophy represents. So yeah, I'd say either or.
Okay, mate, that's cool. Now, that's cool. Yeah, Cody Mac's a legend. That's Blair Davis. You must know Blair. There's nowhere to hide in Rotorua. You're right there, Maru. Nowhere to hide, mate. And that's all the fans rock up there for the big major events. Dave Thomas, biggest hit given and taken?
Oh, probably I got Clinton Cheatham pretty good in the stock car a couple of years ago. And then I've only hit Steve Hampton in the Superstock. I haven't really hit anyone else, even in teams. I haven't had to do too much hits. Biggest hit taken at Miani at the Hawke's Bay Gents. Jason Long pushed me wide, and unfortunately this track was slick, and for whatever reason, I ended up going in backwards and pushing the whole left-hand side of the car forward.
Wow, wicked, bro. And that's talking about Jason Long. That thing's just got the whole flame thing coming out the back these days and the whole re-steel. If there is another chassis aside from what you're currently racing, and we talked about how great that chassis is and the history of it, and it's a bloody outstanding, well-presented car. If there was something available for you, chassis-wise?
QTR.
What was that? Oh, really?
QTR.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the Jamie Hamilton, those things are a work of art. You look at them and you just, it's class above everything else, in my opinion.
Mate,
and they go good. Helps.
You didn't even have to think about that, did you?
No.
So, Dad, are you listening, Dad?
Absolutely.
Sponsors.
Yeah. Might get off this phone call and have a conversation with someone. Get excited.
Yeah. So we're putting it out there. You heard it first on In the Cockpit with Kinser, QTR, sponsors, and of course, family and dad and crew. Cool looking car though, the way Jamie drove that car. And of course, congrats to Jamie and Jess, just become parents just a few days ago, But mate, what a little boy called Jed, I think. So, when you think of
stock before he's walking, I reckon.
Yeah. Oh, look, Warren, listening, mate. Warren, Dad. Is that Dad? Yeah, he's listening and everyone's laughing.
No, good on him.
Mate, but you've got a bloody good car and you're going well with it, you know, and Dad spends millions of hours on it, right through to 5 o'clock before you got to go racing at 7.
Yeah, exactly. Probably too much hours on it, to be fair. He needs to maybe
He
start
loves
checking.
it.
He does.
He loves it, mate.
He does. No,
Yeah.
I think he likes the whole family aspect of it, that we all go over and we all do it, and we all,
Yeah.
we tow to the track together, and we all just enjoy each other's company while we're doing it.
Mate, family is the best thing when it comes to sports. You know, you can't do without family. And the bigger family is the Speedway community. It's those friends you make, everlasting friends as well. May have started when you were a 12-year-old running around in that mini stock for the first time, and then going through to stock cars. And of course, a young man you are now, still doing super stocks. Mate, you've got a big future, you know, and I wish you all the best going forward. Good luck with the All-Stars being selected, especially with the big championship meetings and the traveling you're going to do around the north. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. Mate, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that. It was really good to be on here. I really enjoyed it.
Now, it's good to catch up and meet you, even though it's just briefly when I think you had your teens meeting down there and you're on your way back to the pits, you know, when I was rocking around down the Palmy, and took me all my bloody time to get back to the seat, mate. My family was wondering where the hell I was, but I can't help myself. I bump into everyone. Yep. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. Look, I'm a sucker for a good conversation, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know. Will you always have an A on your car, or will it change to a B? That is Blair Davis.
Depends where I live. Like, I don't see the point in driving past Waikaraka when you live in Auckland. But you never say never. But I don't see it happening.
All right, the B? No, I'm not going to ask you this question. Throw this massive coin at you and everything, and you want to go, but no. Hey, we'll leave it at there, mate. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm looking forward to sometime soon hosting you, Craig Booker, and the crew from Cockpit online with us, and we'll do some laps and smash the hell out of you, or vice versa. You can smash the hell out of us. We'll get your car sorted one day, mate, and get it online with us. And it's just been a pleasure talking to you. And thanks for sharing the chat with us, where it all started. And I know Dad's listening. You hear that? The car he wants in the future. But, mate, it's been a pleasure catching up with you. And we look forward to more chats in the future. I wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And yeah, likewise, I can't wait to hit you on the online track, eh?
Yeah. Cheers, Cody. Thank you, mate. Take care, eh? Look after yourself. There we go. Cody Mac, everyone. Check out the Facebook page, 72A Superstock. Good young man, a name to watch out in the future. Very passionate about the A. Dad's got a history there from 80s, 90s. He's got a damn good car, well presented, won the Ollie Brown Memorial Trophy of recent as well. Yet to race Teams Nationals on his home track, so that could happen in the future. And it's an up-and-coming team as well when you think of Lofty and, of course, Randy T and many others, Tyson, Gary Lonergan. You know, the name Lonergan, synonymous when it comes to stock cars, and especially stock cars at Waikaraka Park. So I wish them all the best, and thank you to all the viewers who have typed in all the questions and everything like that. Madu Goodley, did Dad end up giving you a drawing? Well, hopefully Cody's still sitting there in the corner. We might let you know soon, mate. He was a good guy. He was good to talk to. Good young man. Yeah. No. As another social media one we'll do somewhere along the line. Mate, but we are back. Craig's doing the commentary this Sunday. 3 platforms, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. You know where to go. We'll be street stocking it up at his home track, actually, at Miyani. So looking forward to that. It's been a pleasure talking to, obviously, Cody on our show and find out all about him. Books was on mute for a second there. He'll sort himself out there, Madu and Mark. So, yeah, no, just a bit of a joke thing there going on there.
Oh, there you go. Look, I've done it now, kids. I do it every week, eh?
Hey,
Buddy, turn myself on mute or dot off. Thanks, guys. Turn my mic on. Yep, Books is useless. Yep, there we go.
Oh, you don't want to hear what he just said about you all? No, I'm just joking.
Hey, didn't want to start. I was talking about not starting a social media ban with why Cody had to give Hampton the old hurry up at Rotorua.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that, mate. We'll get ourselves in trouble. But everyone out there, be safe. Enjoy your Wednesday. And hard to believe, hey, August September,
Oh,
October.
mate.
What is it? October 12th?
Yeah.
Is the first opening track for this 22-23 season. Not
It's coming
far
round
away.
quick, brother. Coming round quick.
Your Speedway fix is coming, everyone.
Cheers, all. See you Sunday.
Oh, look, Steve Emmett. Oh, no. I thought you
Yeah,
said
we'll
Mr.
just ignore
Simon.
him.
What's that last name there? No,
Yeah.
I won't say.
Okay, off
Cheers,
we go
everyone.
now. See you
Take
later.
care. See
See
ya.
ya.
Welcome along, everyone. What was it like, that experience jumping into your first race?
It's been my life ever since I can remember.
Look, it really was unbelievable.
I think it's awesome.
Just go out there and give it your every time. And
When you're young and you're getting your old man Superstock and you wreck it, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Craig Booker with the big smile. He is the voice that's behind what you get to hear every Sunday night.
Give it the hoot, Eddie. Look at that field. Doesn't it look fantastic?